Now, Kumba Iron Ore owns mines in the Northern Cape. It has a market cap of 63.5 billion rand, price to earnings ratio of 6.1 and a dividend yield here of 8.1%.
And that's what it's all about, because the CEO, Themba Mkhwanazi, surprised and delighted everybody with better than expected results and the resumption of the dividend.
Yeah, happy days. Let's have a look at that share price graph, and slight uptick there. Market wants to see more.
I think with all these stocks, you'll probably see a short-term pullback. They have all rallied quite hard in the last few weeks. So I think buy the dips on all of these. I think you can buy the dips and hold them for the next few years. I still think that Kumba's another one. You got to play this commodity recovery. Like I say, we're underplaying global growth here, and we're overplaying China.
Just go into that in a little bit more detail. So what you're implying is that most of the iron ore at the margin goes to China, although there's a massive global demand for steel, for construction, cars, everything else.
Absolutely.
But you're suggesting that people have become too obsessed with China and that they're focusing on that too much and forgetting that at 3.5% global growth, there's a lot of steel which gets used anyway.
As you mentioned, in 2001, China was the mainstay of the whole industry, and people have kind of sort of developed, we've kind of sort of that's become the norm, but that's not really the norm. I mean, China is, but you've got emerging markets that still need to come to the fore. You've got India, you've got Africa. When these countries really start to industrialize properly, there's still going to be demand for
In fact, what you're saying is it's not the end of the world, and that's what we have to remember.
And China's still growing. Let's not forget, it's not like China's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Still growing at 6% off a very high base.
It's still growing, So
nothing to sneeze at.
Exactly.
As a result of the synopsis that's just been put to you, would you start looking
let's just go back
more
to
favorably towards
Kumba itself. So remember what it is. It's got mines out in the Northern Cape, and it has a very long railway line to Saldanha, and it ships iron ore to customers in Asia and customers in Europe. And it's been in the sort of 4 or 5 position in the world. So there are other players that are bigger than them, but they are a price taker. So it's all a matter of what the iron ore price is going to do. And remember, there are some pretty hefty competitors out there, from Vale to Rio to Billiton to Glencore that we mentioned before. So I don't know, they remain price takers, and I'm not going to knock them because it's great to get a pleasant surprise.
But they are at the heart, I just want to pick up on what Paul was saying earlier, they are at the heart of infrastructure. And if you look at that emerging market cycle, there's a lot of infrastructure needed.
High quality
I just wanted to add that, Paul, to
But is there enough confidence in the world to press the button on that? We know what our country looks like.
You are the person who is usually glass
running
half
around
full
Sandton,
rather
it's all
than
very hard. Look at all those new
empty.
buildings and all the infrastructure, but we know that outside of that, there's not a lot of confidence at the moment. I mean,
but that's not. We're not going to languish at lower levels for the rest of our lives, or is that what you're saying? I mean,
I think there's always going to be uncertainty on that, but you got to be confident, otherwise we all should leave the game now.
Exactly. Let's go to lunch, have a very long lunch, and
let's
just call it
to an
quits.
island and relax.
What are the chances? Put that chart up again. What are the chances that Kumba gets back to 600 rands a share plus?
No, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Those are the heydays. That was when China was growing at above 10%. But from where they are at the moment, at under 200 rand, I think there's still a lot of sunlight.
And what we can safely say is that Anglo American is not going to sell Kumba Iron Ore like it sort of intimated it might 18 months ago. And chances are whatever money Kumba makes will get paid upstairs, so there'll be a solid dividend underpin because they need the money at the higher level.
Hot.
I'm hot on the stock, yes.
Oh, come on, you can do it.
Hell. I mean, I think they are well positioned, and the company management is well regarded, and it's been smooth. There haven't been any dramas out there. So let's assume that it's at a level now where it can rise. So let's go hot on Kumba Iron Ore.